It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Stroud is set again. Oh, John, boom! Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Defending in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt, extra pass.
And it goes for the win! The three-pointer by Jordan Poole!
Here's the give.
Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Smarty!
Goff's got it. Back, looks, throws, ends up.
Yes! Caught! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to you. It's Hump Day. Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Our Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to be able to find our website. xbmornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to you. Happy Hump Day to both of you. How are we on this Wednesday? What's going on over there?
Not much. There's a local watering hole by my house that looked like it may be up in flames.
Oh, really?
So I was a little sad on my drive in. I hope it's being saved.
Dan went in and saved 6 cases.
I wish.
He pulled his buddies, Jim, Jack, out of the wreck.
Jose
the
was
captain.
there too.
Yeah, Jose.
Well, can you imagine, though, owning a small business and then the amount of sweat equity you put into that and then to lose it to, like, a fire?
It's happened to my barber in college. They were in a strip mall, and the Chinese restaurant connected to them caught fire.
Really?
Yeah. Ruined the whole strip mall.
Wow. Yeah, that is a lot. That is a lot right there. That's unfortunate. Man, that's a tough gig. I hope that your local watering hole by your house will be. Do you want to say the name of said establishment?
Oh, I mean, I don't care. It's just like it's called O'Flaherty's. It's just a bar. It's not like a chain or anything.
Right. I mean,
it's like it's a very cool bar. That's why I hope it's okay because they have like the copper top on the bar, which I really like, and bartender's super cool. It's just a great bar, and it's a block and a half from my house.
That's always nice. O'Flaherty's.
Yes.
I'm going to have to Google that to figure out where you live. O'Flaherty's, Detroit. No, it's
O'Flaherty, Grosse Pointe.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Grosse Pointe.
Yes. The other side of
it's like O'Flaherty's is no more than 200 yards from Detroit, though. It's like it's within a block of the city.
Right. I mean, you could walk across the street, and be in Detroit from Grosse Pointe. Yes. But no.
Get through the gates first.
Well, they're big gates. Somebody has to blow into that.
Yeah, no comment. It's bad. Don't even we can't even joke about it. It's bad. The line.
The line in the sand?
Yes.
Hey, look, man. I mean, it is what it is. You just be honest about it. You know, that's about all. That's
let's
about
put
all
it this about what was Halloween weekend. We were Ubering back from Pontiac, and the guy, our Uber driver, said, "What side of the Berlin Wall do you live on?" I'm not joking.
The side with less crime. I live on the less crime side, so drop me off over there. That's why we pay what we pay in property taxes, because I don't want to have to deal with 99% of this ruckus on the other side. Like that. That's what it is. You know what? And good for you, Dan. Good for you. We have wait a minute. We have this David on Twitter says that there's a nightmare scenario for the NFC North. Let's take we'll take a deeper gander into what that could be. We've got news on Daniel Jones. The group chat is up in arms over Daniel Jones and his contract. Let me just say this very, very clear, because what we talked about yesterday happening with Lamar Jackson has officially happened. The non-exclusive franchise tag is out there. Hopefully, if you were listening to the program and you didn't know what it was, we did a good job of explaining to you what it was and the repercussions of it, not only for Baltimore, but if a team wants to offer a salary to Lamar Jackson, and then what that compensation looks like in return. If we didn't, you have questions, feel free to text us. We'll try to get those answered. Give us a call, tweet at us, do all that stuff. But Daniel Jones got a 4-year, $160 million deal. That is asinine, in my opinion. That's crazy. It's just way too much money. You think I'm like Scrooge McDuck over here, but that's way too much money for Daniel Jones, who I believe had 17 touchdowns. We'll get into the numbers here and more on the quarterback contracts that are taking place. No, how could he get that? Lamar Jackson under the tag would play for $32.5 million. Under the deal that Lamar Jackson is looking to get, go back to Deshaun Watson, not $160 million over 4 years. We're talking about $230, $240, $250 million guaranteed. That's the kind of deal Lamar Jackson wants. That's why when the Browns did that with Deshaun Watson, a player with the amount of baggage and off-the-field issues that Deshaun Watson had, every other owner in the league must have wanted to punch the Haslams right in the throat, because at that point, it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean you're going to give this guy who hasn't played in well over a year a guaranteed contract of over $200 million? The Browns, as we speak, are trying to restructure some things in that deal, clear some money off the deck. Like it's too much. $250 million for Lamar Jackson, $160 million over 4 years with incentives that could boost it up even more for Daniel Jones. Are you kidding me right now? I feel, and you as a Lions fan should feel fabulous about our situation right now. But David, he's got a great train robbery for us, a nightmare scenario in the NFC North that we will get to. Pistons played last night. They lost in a close one. Integrity of the percentages. John Wagner will join us. We'll talk a little spring training for the Tigers. What's it mean at the end of each day in the win-loss column? We'll get into Jerry Palm's going to join us from CBS. We'll talk about the Big Ten tournament. We'll talk about the NCAA tournament, kind of where we stand right now. ESPN has fallen off the rails with J.J. Redick going head-to-head with Kendrick Perkins, because the MVP race is now not just a race between a couple of players. It's now being based off of race, the color of the actual players themselves, according to Kendrick Perkins. And, of course, the Big Ten tournament starting today, which will be a lot of fun as well. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here to X's and Bros. We're back to our regularly scheduled programming here live from the Radio Bunker. Big thanks to the Collaborative Lab for having us yesterday, for the fun that was. I mean, the set looked great. Got a couple pictures from yesterday's program that looked like it was looked pretty cool. So I'm glad that we were able to do that. And thank you to all of them for the incredible hospitality and the amount of Keurig coffee pods that I went through That was very much appreciated by all of those at the Collaborative Lab in GR. We'll step aside when we return. Detroit basketball, they lose again. Integrity of percentages. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Get more for your money at Meijer. Right now, mix or match over 1,000 items and pay just $1 each when you buy 7 of items like extra large avocados, select varieties of Campbell's condensed soup, and select Body Armor's super drink. Plus, it's double points week. Earn 2 times the points for every $1 you spend through M-Perks. No clip necessary. Get more for your money this week at Meijer. See all the deals in the Meijer app. Excludes fuel.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Br0's. They are one of America's top accounting and business firms, and they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of Michigan. If you're a small business, big business, and you're looking for the professionals who can help your business on any tax or business need you have, go to beangarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And we're close to March Madness, so be looking for our huge bracket challenge where you could win big cash, courtesy of Tom Rosenbach and his team from Bean-Garter. We'll have more details in the coming weeks. But if you're a business decision maker or owner and you're looking for professionals to help your business, contact Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean-Garter. BEENEGARTER.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer guest line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening all across the great state of Michigan. It's a pleasure to be with you here this morning. Thanks for being here. Why every time I hook up to my computer this happened when I was in the hotel in Grand Rapids. It happened when I was at the collaborative lab. Now it's happening at my house. Why do I keep getting signed out of everything is what I want to know. Like every time I replug in my computer and connect it to Wi-Fi, it connects directly to the Wi-Fi. Now I got to go through and every single time, enter more passwords. Dude, why do you keep logging me out of everything? Just because I'm on you think somebody, is this really you? Do you think somebody stole my computer?
I mean, you don't have a...
It's all auto fill.
No, I'm saying you don't have a login code on your computer, just when you open it up.
Yeah, there's a password right when you open it up.
I don't know. That's weird then.
It's really weird.
You would think it wouldn't care if you had your code or whatever you put in.
For our Google Drive, it keeps having me open up the YouTube app on my phone to confirm that it's me. That's the strangest thing I've ever seen. But they just keep re-entering stuff. Last night, inside Little Caesars Arena, the Detroit Pistons fell at the buzzer last night. Actually a fun game to watch. Offense actually, put some points on the board. They lose 119-117 at the Horn. The Pistons just don't have a Bradley Beal. They don't have a Kyle Kuzma. They really, and the Wizards, they're only 3 games back of 500, so they're very much fighting and clawing for their positioning. But we just don't have that star like a Bradley Beal. Jaden Ivey, he was fantastic. We're seeing some good things out of James Wiseman. He and Marvin Bagley on the floor, giving you a couple of different lob threats, getting some production off the bench, but.
Beef Stew is over there biting his fingernails, getting nervous.
He should be. He should be nervous. That's what big men look like in the NBA. It looks like, hey, let's drive the lane and just throw this up at the rim and watch this big guy just kind of grab it and just chuck it. Should be very, very nervous. Other than that, a whole bunch of guys that really, we don't even know who's on this team anymore.
Can you believe they basically just gave us James Wiseman? Pretty happy.
Well, I mean, it did cost Sadiq Bey.
Have you seen what Sadiq's been doing?
Hey, baby. What has Sadiq been doing? Do share.
Not much. I don't know. He just, every time I see his name on Twitter, it's not a good thing. It's Sadiq didn't make the extra pass. Sadiq couldn't find the open man, stuff like that.
Well, and to Sadiq, to a fault maybe here, Sadiq Bey believed that after the rookie campaign, believed that he was going to be the guy, and that just wasn't the case. And we saw that in a couple of different games with the Detroit Pistons that he was believing very highly of himself, which is good. I'm glad you have the confidence. That's fantastic and all. But when you drive the basket and you got a guy who's 8 feet tall standing on the block, you got to drop that ball off to him. You have to. And if you want to take it on your own, go ahead and take it on your own. But that's why you're going to find yourself being traded. His month so far in March hasn't been terrible. He's averaging 15 points. He's shooting 44% from 3, 53% from the field, games of 17, 22, and 7.
With Atlanta, I'm looking at his numbers. 12 points a game. His 3-point percentage is actually way up from when he was in Detroit this year.
Doesn't miss threes.
With the Pistons, he was at 34.5%. With Atlanta, he's at 51%.
You want to know what his games is?
Roughly amount of threes per game.
His 8 games with Atlanta, he's gone 60%, 0% on 0 of 1 shooting, 62.5, 66.7, 50, 0, 0 for 3, 50, 60%.
Well, the difference between Atlanta and Detroit, Atlanta knows how to get balls to shooters in space. That's what they do. The Pistons say, we're going to play iso ball and let Sadiq see if he can get some space to make a three.
Yeah, one GM
they figured out how to use him, just like the Lions traded away T.J. Hawkinson, and holy cow, he's great for the Vikings. They figured out how to use him.
Yeah, he had some decent numbers with the Lions as well.
He was the best tight end in the league as soon as he got on the Vikings.
Would you take him over Travis Kelce?
I mean, I'm not saying this. I'm talking about from the time he joined the Vikings until the end of the season, he was the best tight end. Would I take him over Travis?
Numbers.
Yeah. Would I take Travis Kelce over him still? Yes. They're gonna, win a bunch of games every year. Who knows about the Vikings?
Yeah. Love to see another sports show pivot Sadiq Bey to Travis Kelce.
Yeah, nobody else is going to be able to do that. Here's my thing. T.J. Hawkinson. Yeah, his numbers were fine in Detroit. I mean, the guy had a 170-yard receiving game.
And Sadiq's numbers were fine here, too.
Sadiq's numbers were fine here, too. But it wasn't working for the direction that they were going to go if that's the kind of player that he wants to be. If he wants to be the guy, it's not going to work out because you're not. There, Trae Young is the guy. Here, our number one pick, Cade Cunningham, is not on the floor. And so it's just kind of a free-for-all. And it just comes from a severe lack of direction from the coaching staff, in my opinion, that these roles should be able to be figured out. I like what the Pistons did last night with some of their lob plays to the bigs inside. I like Bagley and Wiseman playing together. I like the idea of Jalen Duren playing alongside Wiseman and Bagley. Like I like those ideas. I like the idea that we're not trying to put a 6'8" guy at center in the National Basketball Association when everybody's taller than aliens. I like some of these ideas. What I don't like is the direction of the team. And look, we're in full tank mode. It is what it is. Like, I mean, that was a good loss last night for the integrity of the percentages to lose at the buzzer. But it just, the team is not learning how to win. And that, to me, is that it could come back to haunt us a little bit. Jaden Ivey, who was 9 of 20 from the field, 3 of 6 from three-point land, he finished with 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 12 assists. I like that a lot. I mean, that's a better game. That's like Killian Hayes' best game ever. And Jaden Ivey, it happens, and nobody really talks about it. And he did all of that by, while being able to at least get some shot attempts up. His shooting will get better. That is going to happen. A lot of times when a rookie comes into the league, they struggle a little bit with their shot just because you have more volume, you have more opportunities, game's a little bit longer. Like, there's a lot of factors into it. His shooting will improve this offseason. And alongside, Cade Cunningham, who knows what he'll end up being. This could be a really good 1-2 punch. I'm just glad I don't have to get beat over the head every night with the endless Killian Hayes debate. Like, when he's not on the floor, he doesn't even play for the team. And instead, they got R.J. Hampton and Corey Joseph and what's his name? Eugene? We got a guy named Eugene on the team now? Where the hell did he come from? Amarui? Where the hell did he come from?
Aruarie?
Amani Eugene Oruwariye? Sure. I'll roll with that. At least
he was on the. I think he was. This guy was on the Motor City Cruise, and everybody
That's my point.
was.
Where the hell did he come from?
Yeah, people have been saying like, "Yo, this dude's got some hops, and some defensive ability. Let's give him a shot."
6'6", 235, 26 years old, out of Oregon. Wears number 97. Kind of a cool jersey last night. The St. Cecilia, by the way.
It should be illegal, but no comment.
What, 97?
Yes.
Or the St. Cecilias?
No, 97.
Yeah. Well,
it should
with
be
the rate,
55. That's it, people. That's the highest number. You can do it on one hand.
One hand.
That's how it works.
That's how it's supposed to work. I understand that. I thought you were going to say the St. Cecilia jerseys. I saw some slander about Pistons uniforms last night on Twitter. I want to rip my hair out.
Yeah, by one of our listeners,
jersey,
I saw that.
The best-looking jersey we might have is the St. Cecilia jersey. We'll step aside. We're back with more X's and Bros. John Wagner joins us next. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here, X's and Bros.
The new M-Perks is here. Reward yourself with dollars off your purchases, fuel rewards, and more at Meijer. Earn 10 points on nearly every dollar you spend when you shop in-store or on Meijer.com. Then use your points to claim and redeem rewards any way you want. Plus, earn points for every qualifying prescription filled at your Meijer pharmacy. Download the Meijer app to sign up, or if you're already using M-Perks, start earning points and saving today. Save more with M-Perks. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com to learn more.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online. BeanGarter.com. Bean Garter.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Dana Gale, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now as he does on Wednesday mornings. A member of the National Football Foundation and Football Writers Association of America. Also covered the Detroit Tigers minor league system for a couple of decades. Our good buddy John Wagner. Find him on Twitter at John Wagner Media. Johan, my friend, good morning to you, partner. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Anthony, I am a little slice of heaven this morning. How are you doing?
Life is, it's hectic. It's hectic. It's complicated. I thought that maybe after the show today I would pack my stuff up and head to Cleveland. Now it's looking like, me and Amani Bates might have something in common after all. Neither one of us will go to the MAC tournament. But I'm here all day, folks. Bing bong. I know you like that. But, so, life comes at you fast. And that's all you can do is overcome and adapt, right? Survive and advance is the name of the game this time of year.
Indeed. I have to admit, I very much enjoyed covering the Mid-American Conference basketball tournament over the years. Loved it when it was in Cleveland. I enjoyed it immensely when it was in Toledo. I had a lot of great memories from the Mid-American Conference basketball tournament. This is the most exciting time of the year for college basketball for sure, because for mid-major teams especially, you're trying to figure out, can we chase that dream? The blue bloods of the world, this is not their dream at all. You go to the conference tournament because your coach lied you and put you up on a bus and get you in a plane, like it or not. I mean, the blue bloods, they know that they're going to the NCAA tournament. It's just what is their seed. For the mid-majors, though, it's awesome. You don't know. That's exciting.
Well, that is for most blue bloods, but then you have a team like Michigan, and they actually have to do some damage here in the conference tournament. Backs are against the wall. A couple of good opportunities that slipped through their fingers this week, and now it kind of feels like, hey, if they don't make a little noise, they don't shake some things up, they don't win a couple of ball games here in the Big Ten Conference tournament, they might be on the outside actually looking in. And you know how it is covering the MAC. You could be really good. And obviously they shifted the format. Now only the top 8 teams will make the conference tournament. No longer do all 12 get a shot at it, which I think is nice. Puts a little bit extra emphasis, right? It cuts down on some of the days of the actual tournament itself. And, it's interesting because, will the MAC ever see 2 bids ever again? We don't know. This year, it could be a year where you might see a Kent State and a Toledo both at least be acknowledged in the conversation, and I think that is a win.
I think, if you're asking me, will the Mid-American Conference ever receive 2 bids ever again, they're going to have to step up their game. They are too far behind too many leagues that have too many teams that are quality. When Michigan is where's Michigan in the Big Ten standings, Anthony? I'm sure you know this.
They are
Michigan men. Where are they in the standings?
They are currently 8th, John, and it's all because they lost at Indiana. Had they won at Indiana, they would have been the 2 seed in the tournament. Now they're 8th.
Holy mackerel. Yeah. But see, when you're the 8th seed in the Big Ten, you're on the bubble. When you're in the 8th seed in the Mid-American Conference, you're not in the bubble. You're taking on water fast. And
you're in Mars.
We have to, we've got to pull massive upsets over and over just to get the opportunity to maybe play for an NCAA bid. Whereas Michigan's like, well, we have work to do, but it's to confirm a bid that we feel we're worthy of.
Yeah, no doubt about that, my friend. And It's going to be a hectic week. It is going to be a hectic week. I don't even know where to begin with what happens, but you just cross your fingers and you hope that everybody has fun, nobody gets hurt, and orange slices at halftime. There are some other things that are taking place, right? I mean, we've got the Players Championship coming up this weekend in the PGA Tour. That's very exciting. Our friends over at Bally Sports Detroit are kicking off their coverage of Tigers baseball later on today. That is exciting at spring training. And I have to ask you, because it's been a little sluggish in that win-loss column there, John, how much weight, if any at all, do we put in the outcome and final score of spring training games?
What is the lowest possible answer I can give you here, Anthony?
The final
can I
score
go below 0?
The final score of a preseason XFL game.
It means even less than that, Anthony. It does not mean a thing, not one thing.
You're sure?
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. I mean, if it mattered even vaguely, wouldn't teams use their varsity roster for 9 innings? I mean, heck, wouldn't they at least send their roster on the road for 4 or 5 innings? I mean, Major League Baseball had to put in a rule where you have to send a certain number of starters when you take a road trip in spring training, because otherwise nobody wants to travel. Nobody would go from the visiting team, that is. So you would have guys wearing who's the Tigers' opponent today?
The Tigers later on today, after coming off of a massive, monstrous offensive output, 16-3 final winner Cardinal dinner. Like I said, Cardinal's a bird, a chicken's a bird. That makes sense. 105 first pitch today against the Washington Nationals.
Oh, yeesh. Well, that's not a very good example, because how many Washington Nationals could you name on their varsity roster, much less the travel roster that they're going to send to Lakeland for that game? It might be less than 0 if there weren't rules in place. These games are about pitchers getting innings to get ready for the start of the season. They're about hitters getting their batting eye and their swing in shape so they can hit the ground running on opening day. If you'll notice, very few teams these days have a lot of decisions to go in terms of who are the top 15 names on their roster. I mean, are we going to see Spencer Torkelson on the Tigers opening day roster? Well, duh. Javi Baez, who I get he's in the World Baseball Classic right now, but of course he's going to be on the roster. Miguel Cabrera, same thing. We know the majority of every team's roster, including the Tigers. The Tigers maybe have, 5, 6, 7 spots that they're trying to fill and trying to figure things out. If you're watching spring training games, that's one of the things you're watching for. Who do you fill the rest of your roster with? And frankly, I got to be honest, back in the days when I covered the Mud Hens, the Toledo Mud Hens, the Tigers AAA affiliate, I would watch the last 5 innings of spring training games zealously to try and figure out who was going to be on the Mud Hens roster. That's what we're looking at. You've got the Detroit Tigers for 5 innings, and you've got the Toledo Mud Tigers for the final 4 or 5.
Mud Tigers.
You like that one? I just said Mud Tigers. Or it might be the Erie Sea Mud Tiger Wolves, you know? It's a conglomerate. It's a mishmash. It's not the Detroit Tigers. You know, hey, Anthony, I want to grab the wheel for the second here, if you don't mind.
Oh, boy. Jesus, take the wheel. Hold on to your butts, everybody.
Seatbelts, everybody. Seatbelts. Trade tables in the upright and secure position, please. I've been thinking about the ways to make baseball more exciting, more interesting to fans.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, wow.
And I've come up with an idea.
Oh, I'm all ears.
And you know what, Anthony? Normally I make you try and take a stab at it, take a guess at it. That would be wasting your poor listeners' time, because there's no way you could predict this answer, even if I gave you hints. Just because it's me, it would be like, John, what are you talking about? But are you ready? Here's what I'd like to do. Are you ready?
I am.
Seatbelt on, tightened, ready, right? Insert a lot more gambling into the sport and into the game. Gambling is the answer.
Hurt my feelings.
I don't. John Wagner talking about game. You want? Hold on, people. I don't think you understand the magnitude. Hold on.
Is this the real? Who are you, and what have you done with the real John Wagner?
Folks,
right?
This is one of those things. It's like, what is that one thing that you would tweet that people would know something is wrong, and then you need a wellness check? This is that. John, is there anybody else in the room with you? Are you under attack? Are the Russians at the door? What is happening?
Blink twice. Right?
Exactly.
Blink twice. Yeah, because you know me. I don't do much, if any, gambling. I just don't. But the more I think about it, baseball is before pitch clocks and speed up the games and yada, yada, yada. It was perfectly paced for gambling. You have at-bat is over. The inning starts. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You can wager on, will this team score a run a half inning? Will the pitcher strike out the side in this half inning? Will we see a home run this half inning? And then the inning starts. And every at-bat, you can have all kinds of gambling in between pitches because you have time to place your bets. You have time to place your bets. You bring your phone. I mean, can we not? Our phones do 100 million things already. Can't we add a gambling app to them and say, will he strike this batter out? What's going to be the result of this pitch? Fastball or breaking ball? And it would fill those gaps in time, in my opinion. It would fill all this time that people say, oh, it drags too slow, it drags too long. Wait a second, I gotta get a bet in. I'm feeling this batter's gonna get a hit. Oh, I gotta get a bet in. This pitcher's gonna strike this guy out. I can feel it. And the other end of this is, we talk all the time about there being too many games, and it's a relentless slog of games, and I can't get into it because they're going to play again tomorrow. Would you not get into a game if you had bet some money on the outcome? Wouldn't that raise the stakes? Is it? And ask me let me know, Anthony, if you agree or disagree with this. That the gambling that has been associated with the NFL, now not the NFL's doing, but all the side stuff, the side hustles, hasn't that helped that sport gain in its excitement, in notoriety, and exponentially? Hasn't that helped?
Yes, and here's the deal. I mean, we do a lot with gambling partners and our sports betting partners, and I'm one who, prior to certain employment rules coming down, dabble or whatnot, and I just think it is. How do I say this appropriately without getting fined here? I feel like this is just sports betting when done responsibly can be a lot of fun. I think when you start to get into live action, ball versus strike, will a run be scored? You got a runner on first base, can he steal? Things of that nature. I think that when you start to do that, you start to open up Pandora's box a little bit. Then $1 or 25 cents becomes $1, and $1 becomes $2, which becomes $5 and $10. And I just, I monitor.
Anthony,
I know. I don't want to. Why do I feel like we just switch roles here? I don't like this at all. I shake this out. Old man yells at cloud just became me. And I'm looking at what's happening in Europe right now, where there is a move to try to eliminate sports gambling from major soccer sponsorship because of the damage that can be done. It's no different than an alcohol advertisement, right? I mean,
here's the problem with that, Anthony. Well, then, okay, and trust me, I understand that. And, at some point we should probably drop the phone number for Gamblers Anonymous if somebody has
1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm very sensitive to that. Please, if you feel you have a problem, call that number. But here's the thing, though. If you're going to do that, don't we need to take it away from the NFL? Don't we need to stop putting lines in newspapers? Don't we need to stop talking about it and crack down on it? Pandora's box, in my opinion, is already open. And all the boogeymen have flown out already. They's gone, Anthony. And there ain't no way to close that box back up.
The one time I tried to be responsible. Folks. Just wanted to make that. Just to throw my my disclaimer.
And you know what?
There.
I was like, yeah. I mean, trust me. I want people to gamble responsibly. Frankly, here's why I thought about this. I used to do this all the time without money. For me, baseball's fun trying to figure out, is he going to throw the fastball here or not? Why is the defense this way or that way? In a press box with no money down, I would try and call results. I'm feeling a home run right here, guys. Just letting you know.
Well, it's because you had Big John Melkowski sitting next to you, keeping track, and you two going back and forth. And I'm like, How in the hell do they know who this guy's third cousin is, who once played like low-A wooden bat league in the Dominican Republic, but somehow surfaced in Erie, played like 3 innings in Louisville for the Bats? I'm listening to you two, and I'm like, what is going? How in God's green earth do these people even know who these other people are?
Exactly. And for us, we did not need to have a dime on the game to have fun doing that.
Amen.
Not a dime. We never bet on anything there. Never. But I'll tell you this. The perfect example would be the Tigers games. They kind of, on television, they would dabble in that with the pick to click. You know, who's your pick to click? And they would keep track of, hey, who had the guy? Who was the big winner today? That's the kind of stuff that keeps people's interest. I don't need it, okay? I enjoy watching a baseball game without having to put X amount of dollars on a winner or a loser. Do they get the over or under? I mean, Anthony, how many people know how to bet a money line in baseball? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to embarrass you now. Do you know how to bet a baseball money line?
Baseball money line, the Dodgers are taking on the Rockies, and the Dodgers are minus 110 on the money line, which means you'd have to bet $110 to win 100 because they are the favorite to win the game.
You are exactly right. And then for the Rockies, let's say the Rockies are plus 130. What does that mean?
That means if you bet $100, you would win $130 if the Rockies won outright.
You got it.
But then you also have the lines. The lines are fun, too. I mean, Dodgers might be a 1.5 run favorite. So you might see Dodgers LAD minus 1.5. Over under. How many runs will be scored? Now we're talking. Will we see an offensive explosion? Will we see that 9 go 7.5, 8.5, 9.5? Will it get to double digits? Dodgers got a lot of firepower in their lineup. They're on the road in Colorado. The ball flies a little further. What are we talking about here? Let's make a little scratch. His name's John Wagner. Everybody get in. Do it now. DraftKings. You know where to go. John Wagner. Find him on Twitter, John Wagner Media. Send your picks to him. We'll all make a little scratch here. John, my friend, is always partner. Thank you so much for the time today.
Anthony, I hope you and your listeners weren't driving off the road this morning. I hope you folks all have a safe and wonderful week.
1:05 first pitch between the Tigers and the Nationals today. That game will be carried on Bally Sports Detroit, so you'll get Matt Shepard and Simo. Craig Monroe should be on the call with him, if I'm not mistaken.
And Todd Jones.
Today. And Todd Jones. The whole gang. Dan, are you working this?
No, that's as we call it in the biz, a skeleton crew.
Oh, yes.
That's like 4 people in a truck down in Florida.
I love when you say, as we call it in the biz. We're going to step aside in the biz. We call this a commercial break. We'll be back after this here on X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
Get more for your money at Meijer. Right now, mix or match over 1,000 items and pay just $1 each when you buy 7 of items like extra large avocados, select varieties of Campbell's condensed soup, and select Body Armor Super Drink. Plus, it's double points week. Earn 2 times the points for every $1 you spend through Mperks. No clip necessary. Get more for your money this week at Meijer. See all the deals in the Meijer app. Excludes fuel.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at freddythepizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email freddythepizzaman@gmail.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 2 on Hump Day. It is the 8th day of March, 2023. Great to have you ride along with us no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000 Sports Radio to 21000. Give us a dial on the Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well. BCSN and streaming live on the YouTube at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. Fan feedback, email inbox, xbmornings@gmail.com. And you can find us all individually on Twitter. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the Studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Guys, have you ever seen pictures of people flying internationally and they have those big, like, pods that you sit in and you, like, sleep in, like, during your flight? Have you guys ever seen those?
Yes. I saw a picture of a corgi. He had his own.
A dog
yes.
had its own.
Is that what you were going for?
So, well, no. I have a friend, and they are going to Paris. And, I said something like, oh, what are you guys up to this weekend? And they responded with, oh, we're going to Paris. I said, oh, going to Paris. That's like, wow. That's not.
They leaving one kid behind?
It was said so nonchalant, like, oh, we're going to Paris. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun or whatever. And I asked, I said, well, did you guys get the, what is it? I'm trying to do the math in my head as far as, how many hours time difference, how long is the flight? I know that if you go to Paris, you fly into, I believe, Charles de Gaulle Airport. And what is it, like a 7-hour flight? Like, yeah, it's an 8-hour flight. I said, did you get the big bed seat? Like, no, that's an extra $5,000 to sit in the seat that is the bed. $5,000. You're going to Paris. $5,000 just for the plane ticket? Shoot, let's get to a guy who's got $5,000 on him. People were tweeting about this when with the issue we had in Grand Rapids on what day was that? Monday, was that after the ice storm there was ice on the receivers, and that's why GR was they had a bunch of commercials over there at 96.1 and no one could hear us, and that's why. I mean, it's completely out of our control. But ice baby on the receivers, and they couldn't get us. So somebody had tweeted in about, usually I when I'm tuned in, I hear this USDA guy, and I can't make out what he's trying to say, which I thought was really funny. USDA Scott, wouldn't you know? Right on schedule. Good morning, Scott. How are you?
What, I don't pronunciate or pontificate my language enough?
Who knows?
You can't hear me?
I was told that I made somebody dumber yesterday with my conversation with Brian Bush. So, I mean, it is what it is. Everybody's got their own opinions.
All right. Hey.
Hey.
No, you were talking with John, and just quick little story, and I'll get off. I knew a guy who gambled. He gambled so much, ended up losing so many different things. But this is before the online gambling. He had a runner at the Bellagio doing sports booking for him, as well as, and this guy was very knowledgeable about all the sports, but could not stop. He'd win 3 games, and then he'd be looking for what the midnight bets would be.
Yep.
That guy was me. I lost a wife of 22 years. Some friends, family, things like that. took me almost 14 years now to build everything back up. And gambling can be fun. There's a lot of people, well, I say there's some people that can do it and do it responsibly. I just wish there was, because you read about so many people right now that are having problems, I wish there was a way they could track, like if a guy's using 6 different credit cards to pay for his online account. You know what I mean? I just wish there was a way with technology today where they could try to catch and help people before that kind of things happen. So,
Scott, if they were interested in the actual human being, if they were interested in people, they would, but they're not. They're all just interested in making money. I had this conversation.
They do have. You can absolutely set your limit on there. And it's a hard limit. It will not let you go past what you tell it. It'll log you out after a certain amount of time. I mean, it's very difficult.
Yeah, but I mean, there's and for me, if I went through the money I had deposited that day, it would be, that means I got to go to, I got to swing by MGM Grand while I'm over by Detroit tomorrow, or things of that nature. And it's a disease like any other, and I was very good at it. But I mean, when you win 13 grand in 2 hours, and then all of a sudden you're down 2,000 in another 4 hours, you feel like driving off a bridge in Bunkman on the way home. So, I'm really good and I'm really horrible. So I just can't do it anymore. I just don't do it.
Yeah, and I had this conversation yesterday with one of my buddies about we were talking about mortgages, and I said, it's just like it's no different than the bank, right? The bank may say, oh, you can afford a mortgage that's, let's say it's, you can afford $300,000, right? That's the maximum amount you could afford, because we were having a big group discussion about I believe it was CNBC had put out this article about the number of people that are making 6 figures but are still living check to check, and it spawned out of a different conversation where a guy was 42, he had no wife, no kids, and he had $15,000 in his savings, and he said, what's the next move? And my suggestion was, 42, no wife, no kids, 15 grand. Like, you might want to just don't do anything, keep saving, right? Maybe open up an IRA, maybe start to look at making that 15,000 work for you. So we got down this long conversation, but the banks are in it to make money as well. So if they approve you for a massive loan because you quote unquote can't afford it, well, yeah, you haven't paid anything out yet. You haven't bought groceries. You haven't paid for insurance. All the little things, property tax, all these little things that kind of just creep up on you. You know what I'm saying? Your everyday life. Like, do you even know how much money you spend a month?
I lived in the suburb, like in resemblance to what you guys would know, Bloomfield Hills, by Grand Rapids, and I saw it all the time. People had 2 nice cars in the driveway. They had a $350,000, $400,000 home. They traveled. Person lost their job for a month, and signs in the yard, going bankrupt, because living to your nth degree is no way to go through life.
Yeah, it's tough. It looks good. I think that now, from a psychological standpoint, keeping up with the Joneses, that old saying, like you're reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or The Millionaire Next Door, books like that can kind of help keep things in perspective and educate folks a little bit and teach you things that they don't teach you in school. Keeping up with the Joneses in the advent of social media has just gone up exponentially. It's gone to the nth degree, right? And it's now become not just keeping up, not just keeping up with the Joneses in your neighbor next door. Now it's trying to keep up with the rest of the world and the front that is put on for social media. It's a dangerous world out there, Scott. Dangerous world financially. I don't know. You know me. I don't even want to spend the Lions' money, much less my own. Clutching my pearls over here, holding my money's close, Scott. I appreciate the phone call in the realism there, because I think that we talk about it. We're paid to talk about it. We promote it, right? And I think that we can, just like
you gotta admit it to get over it, my friend. You got to admit it to get over it.
I like that saying. I like that a lot. There's USDA Scott. We'll step aside. When we return, folks, we're going to come back. A big deal in the Big Apple. Danny Dimes got paid. What does that mean for everybody else? We'll Talk about it next year, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Br0's. They are one of America's top accounting and business firms, and they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of Michigan. If you're a small business, big business, and you're looking for the professionals who can help your business on any tax or business need you have, go to BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com. And we're close to March Madness, so be looking for our huge bracket challenge where you could win big cash, courtesy of Tom Rosenbach and his team from Br0's. We'll have more details in the coming weeks. But if you're a business decision maker or owner and you're looking for professionals to help your business, contact Tom Rosenbach and his team at Br0's. BeanGarter.com.
Get more for your money at Meijer. Right now, mix or match over 1,000 items and pay just $1 each when you buy 7 of items like extra large avocados, select varieties of Campbell's condensed soup, and select Body Armor's super drink. Plus, it's double points week. Earn 2 times the points for every $1 you spend through Mperks. No clip necessary. Get more for your money this week at Meijer. See all the deals in the Meijer app. Excludes fuel.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Happy Wednesday. It is Hub Day. Oh, it's exciting. We've got the Mid-American Conference Tournament tipping off. Yeah, that's coming into you in Cleveland. First game is 11 a.m. today. My Toledo Rockets taking on whoever they got to play. That'll be a good time there in Cleveland. Hey, shout out to my coach, too. Second consecutive year. Fifth time in her career, Tricia Cullop, Mid-American Conference Coach of the Year. Wow. Second straight, 5 in her career. My goodness. And Player of the Year, first team All-MAC selection, Quenisha Lockett. So good for them. It is hour 2, and it's segment 2, which means it's time for... little Detroit Lions trivia.
The button's back. Feel better?
Feel what?
Your button is back. You feel better?
Oh, yeah. I like to be able to have. I wheeled in all my stuff yesterday to the collaborative lab, and they were like, what's in that big box? I said, everything I need to do radio. Yeah, I got a Pelican case on wheels. And they're like, oh, well, you don't need any of that. And I'm like, I don't believe you. But I went up there, and I didn't have any of my stuff, so therefore I couldn't have any of my... yesterday. Stressful. I was working under the elements, folks. All right, Detroit Lions trivia question today comes from the year of 2020, because of course it does. What player posted a team-leading 10 sacks for the Lions in 2020? I didn't know we had 1 sack in the year 2020. It's such a rough season.
I feel like we had something similar to this, and Ryan maybe got it correct. Do you remember this question?
No.
I want to say Jamie Collins.
It's a good guess. That's a good guess. It is, unfortunately.
Right to jail, right away.
Yeah, I think 2020 is too late. The guy I'm thinking of, but I'll just throw it out there. Ziggy Ansah.
Oh, Ziggy.
Yeah.
Correct answer, Romeo Okwara. Bing bong. Romeo.
That was 2020.
Outline quarterbacks, Romeo.
Whew. That was a long time ago, Rome.
Yeah. It has been a while. All right, nightmare scenario coming from David on Twitter because he wants to scare us all. Spooky, scary skeletons. Nightmare scenario for the NFC North. The Jets get Aaron Rodgers and give Green Bay a Herschel Walker type of haul. Green Bay offers Lamar a huge deal. Baltimore does not match. Green Bay gets their third great quarterback in a row and enough picks to rebuild the right way. David from Twitter. David, what I need you to do is I need you to grab a glass of water, right? At the end of the day, if you're getting, if you're worked up, you're spooked, maybe you've had a bad day, you're anxious, whatever the case may be, take a deep breath, have some water. I don't even know why you'd even think of something like that. I would get away from those thoughts as quickly as possible. Is it possible that could happen? Yes, it is. That is a realistic situation if the Jets do offer Rodgers and they are going to take on a portion of that salary and Green Bay ends up giving it up and the picks are, they're moving because the Jets feel like they might be in contention right now. This might be a sliver of a window. And if you can get any consistency in the quarterback room, you might be able to beat the Lions next year. I don't know, because all that chatter about, the coach there, quarterback there, and how great everybody is there. And then we went in there and beat them up. So that's kind of where I stand with the New York Football Jets. I've never seen an opposing franchise, not in a division, get as much coverage and talked about as much as the New York Jets do on this show. Do the New York Jets get talked about anywhere else in Michigan? I mean, who cares about the Jets? Ugh. Is that deal possible? Sure. Do I think that happens? No. Do I hope that does not happen? Yes, I hope that does not happen. Green Bay can ride it out with Jordan Love, and we can see how great of a job they've done, as far as their drafting and development, what they think, and we'll go from there, right? We'll just let Green Bay. That would be a nightmare scenario, though. You are right. If it is a deal that involves Aaron Rodgers leaving, but them getting from Baltimore, hey, look, especially if they end up using those picks, man, that would be really, really something there, because the non-exclusive tag is being applied to Lamar Jackson, which means other teams, and that could be the Baltimore Ravens saying, you know what, we're going to use the non-exclusive franchise tag. We're going to let other teams write the contract and see how close you guys can get to the numbers. And if it's something that we like, we can come back over the top and do something along those lines. Guaranteed money is what everybody wants. That's what everybody is looking for. That's where we find the big news yesterday. The New York Giants have signed quarterback Daniel Jones a 4-year contract. Use the tag on Saquon Barkley, their non-exclusive franchise tag on Saquon Barkley. And the Giants made the moves just before yesterday's 4 o'clock deadline for NFL teams to use the tags and transition tags. Jones's deal is worth up to $160 million, $82 million guaranteed at signing. The deal includes up to $35 million in incentives. Barkley will make just over $10 million in 2023 under the non-exclusive franchise tender. I have a couple of issues here. Daniel Jones going to be 26 in May and had the best season of his career. I'll give him that. He threw for 3,200 yards. He had 15 touchdowns and 5 picks last season. He had 708 yards rushing with 7 touchdowns. So he totaled 22 touchdowns and 5 interceptions and tripped over the 10-yard line twice. And I got a feeling they're going to regret this. I don't know why. I do know why. I don't think Daniel Jones is worth $82 million in guaranteed money at signing. I don't foresee that happening. And the numbers are changing. I get it. The salary cap is going up. It's going to continue to rise. The NFL is bulletproof. So that anybody who thought like they were going to lose a bunch of money, all the jersey burners, all those people are back. All the people are like, you got to stand for the anthem. All those people are back. The people, I'll never watch another. They're all back. Business is booming. And the numbers are going to get even more, inflated. But $82 million for a guy, like that's what they're going to pay Daniel Jones. And you want to argue with me about Jared Goff? I mean, you look at Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones. Would you rather have Daniel Jones or Jared Goff? Right now, to lead your franchise.
Well, yeah, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff, 4,400 yards.
Was that a real question?
That's a real question.
No, okay.
I wasn't being facetious. Like, Jared Goff's contract right now doesn't look that terrible. A couple months ago, you start looking at the money. He's under contract. Okay, he's roughly about $30 million a year, give or take. Plus or minus $5 million. And it's like, okay, well, how bad is that? Do you want to draft the quarterback in the first? And that was when that idea was even being floated around. You know where I stand. I'm anti-quarterback in the first round because the window, just as the Jets see their window open, and this is why they're having conversations with Green Bay. When Derek Carr went and signed that deal with New Orleans, Green Bay's got the leverage now. What are you going to do? You going to leave or you going to stay? Because we'll trade you right now. We're ready to go with Jordan Love. So we just need a little stamp of approval here. Is there a market for Aaron Rodgers? And if not, get him out of there and adjust accordingly as quickly as possible before that dead money number goes up to over $50 million next offseason. We'll step aside when we return, talk a little college hoops with Jerry Palm from CBS. He joins us next here, X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
The new M-Perks is here. Reward yourself with dollars off your purchases, fuel rewards, and more at Meijer. Earn 10 points on nearly every dollar you spend when you shop in-store or on Meijer.com. Then use your points to claim and redeem rewards any way you want. Plus, earn points for every qualifying prescription filled at your Meijer pharmacy. Download the Meijer app to sign up, or if you're already using M-Perks, start earning points and saving today. Save more with M-Perks. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com to learn more.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaMan.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Br0's. They are one of America's top accounting and business firms, and they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of Michigan. If you're a small business, big business, and you're looking for the professionals who can help your business on any tax or business need you have, go to BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com. And we're close to March Madness, so be looking for our huge bracket challenge where you could win big cash, courtesy of Tom Rosenbach and his team from Br0's. We'll have more details in the coming weeks. But if you're a business decision maker or owner and you're looking for professionals to help your business, contact Tom Rosenbach and his team at Br0's. BeanGarter.com.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. You can visit us on the Meyer Supercenter guest line, 248-951-2176, 248-951-2176. Dan, is Jerry ready to go over there?
Calling him right now.
Okay. All right, that's good. Terry wants to know, why is there so much chatter about Lamar Jackson and dumping Goff? I think the move is too costly. What are Lions fans thinking? What is in the water? Just don't do it. It would be very, very expensive. Very, very expensive. I don't think that the Lions will do that, but it's the same as any time a big name comes up as available, whether that's via trade, if somebody's on the block, whether it's free agency, whether it is, in a strange star somewhere. Like, look at the amount of people that wanted Ben Simmons. Look at the amount of people that wanted Russell Westbrook just because they want a big name. They want a star name for God knows what reason. We did that before, people. I mean, we did it with Ben Gordon, Charlie Villanueva, and Josh Smith. And, of course, none of those guys would be at Lamar Jackson's level. But I don't think that you necessarily go star hunting when it's going to cost you what what Lamar Jackson is looking at costing this franchise. Now, if this is something we actually talked about maybe a month or so ago, a couple months ago, about Lamar Jackson and would he be available? Would that be a trade that would be willing to be made for this Detroit Lions team? If they thought that, if they can hit higher than the franchise tag number, 32.5, which is, right, a little bit more than Jared Goff, okay, and they were able to lock him up for 5 years, is that, I mean, do you think that Lamar Jackson, a guy who has won a league MVP, whose completion percentage during that year I think was 66 or 67%, like, the guy can play, there's no doubt about that, is that a worthwhile investment? Because if you go Lamar Jackson, then you're good, the rest of the draft to continue to go defense. Terry, we appreciate the tweet this morning. Is Jerry good over there, Dan?
He's ready to go.
He is ready to go. All right, let's talk a little college shooty hoop, shall we? Conference tournaments already underway. We've crowned some champions. Some folks have already punched their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Joining us right now, you can find him on CBS Sports. Jerry Palm, JP Palm, CBS. That's the Twitter handle. Jerry, my friend, first and foremost, good morning to you, partner. How are you? How's life? How are things?
Everything's good. How are you?
It's the most wonderful time of the year, right? We got conference tournaments, NFL deadlines. We got the Players' Championship coming up, coming out of the Underwear Olympics to the NFL Combine. It is a beautiful time of year. But, Jerry, I have this burning question I'm asking everybody I can find. Jerry, is the Big Ten good at basketball? What when you watch the Big Ten, what do you see out of this conference that I've seen bracketology say there could be as many as 10 teams from this conference to make it to the big dance?
Yeah, but they might all be 8, 9, and 10 seeds, except for, Purdue and Indiana and, Northwestern and maybe Michigan State. Everybody else is a middle of the bracket team. Well, you have to have those teams too. But you might not have more than 2 teams seeded to actually get to the Sweet 16, no matter how many get in. So they might be numerous, but they may not be there for long.
Zach Edey at Purdue. You mentioned the Boilermakers. They're going to be high up there in the seeding marks. They're going to be pretty tough to beat. When I watch Purdue, it does kind of feel like they do have that guy who's 7'4", who is one of the most monstrous human beings I think anybody will ever see. I try to describe the size of his cranium. It's like a football helmet. Like, that's how big. Like, I don't think people can understand that his foot is about the size of your elbow to the end of your fingertips. Like, he's a massive human being. When you see him up close in person, like his hand, he palmed my face, and could have thrown me across Chrysler Center.
Fortunately, he's a gentle soul, except on the court.
He is. He's such a nice guy. Does he cover up some flaws that Purdue has because he is just impossible to guard?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, Purdue does that intentionally. They don't intentionally have flaws, but they certainly intentionally play through the post So, maybe that does that. They certainly have some flaws. Their three-point shooting is spotty. When they're hitting their threes, you can't defend them. There's just no way. But and they turn the ball over at times. It's been better lately. That's part of depending on freshman guards. Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer have had really good seasons. Lawyer's shooting has come down late in the year. You kind of wondered if his legs are wearing out on him a little. But, Braden Smith and Lawyer have been keys to this team. But, when you're playing with freshman guards in the NCAA tournament, you always have to worry. But Zach, Zach can only do so much in terms of covering up for other people's mistakes.
It's going to be very, very interesting to see if Purdue can be one of those teams that out of the Big Ten, if we can finally get a little respect back, right? And for the folks wondering, yes, they have stashed another 7'2" individual on their roster, a young fella from Stockholm, Sweden, by the name of Will Berg. And Will Berg is another large human coming out of the Purdue factory of 7-footers there on their farm that they do have. If it's Purdue's the high seed, okay. Is there a team that you honestly look at that can really move and shake in this NCAA tournament from the Big Ten? Or is this another year where we kind of look at it, it's like, well, we get all these teams in. Where's our Elite Eight team? Where's our Final Four team? Who's going to make a legitimate run at a national championship?
Yeah, it could be Indiana if it's not Purdue. Indiana, of course, Trace Jackson Davis, a fabulous player. He could also be a first-team All-American. But I think they're going to go as far as their freshman guard, Jordan Hood-Schifino, takes them. He's the guy on that team that the NBA guys want. And typically when you see teams get to the Final Four, they all have a guy like that, a guy that the NBA wants. Now, Zach Edey is different because they don't use guys like him anymore. The 10 years ago, NBA scouts would be drooling over him, but they don't play through the post in the NBA anymore. So Zach's a little different in that regard, but Hood-Schifino is a terrific player, and they're going to need him to play well to open up the rest of that offense at Indiana. And if they do that, they've got enough weapons to make a deep run.
Well, I tell you what, I love Jalen Hood-Schifino. The first time I got to watch him in person, to see his size, it's like, yeah, one and done. Get out of there. We don't need you to stick around. You absolutely play in the NBA right now. You're the perfect size for what they're looking for in today's NBA. And then, in his last game against the heartbreaker that was the Michigan game in overtime for people on my side of the fence, he finishes with 13 points, couple of rebounds, couple assists, 4 of 9 for the field. You feel pretty good. But really, you mentioned the guy Trace Jackson Davis, he was fantastic in that ball game. My Michigan Wolverines, couple of really good opportunities, road game in Illinois, road game in Indiana to end the season. They missed out and blew both of those opportunities. It does feel like tomorrow's game against Rutgers is a play-in game to the NCAA tournament. Do you see it that way? How many games in the Big Ten tournament would this team have to win?
It's actually a play-out game. The winner isn't guaranteed anything except another chance to play. The loser is not going to make it. So it's really more of an elimination game. And, it's funny because Michigan is a team, they're depending on freshmen quite a bit. Of course, you've got a star player in Hunter Dickinson. But, Jet Howard, Doug McDaniel, it's McDaniel, right?
Yep.
Those guys, are when they play well, those are really, athletic guys who have ability, but they're freshmen. So sometimes they play like freshmen. But, when those two guys are going and Hunter Dickinson is playing with energy and effectiveness, then, that Michigan could be better than their record indicates. But unfortunately, their record indicates what they are because they don't always play that way. And and they've had injury problems too. Jet Howard's been in and out of the lineup and things like that. So, but I think that, with the pieces together, and getting good play from those freshmen, I think Michigan could be a sleeper in the NCAA tournament, but they have to get there first.
Got to get there first. One team that I feel like we could just pencil in, or maybe even use Sharpie. It doesn't really matter. They're going to be in. It all depends on what seed they are. The Izzo kids out of East Lansing, Michigan State. They have done it again. They schedule ridiculously hard in the beginning of the year, get their guys battle tested, and get ready to go in conference play. And they've had a little bit of a roller coaster. They've had a couple of weeks where, maybe they have lost a couple games in a row, but they've found a way to battle right back. And I just don't know, Jerry, if people understand and appreciate how good Tom Izzo has been for Michigan State.
Oh, yeah, he's legendary, really. I mean, if you're not paying attention, if you don't know that about Tom Izzo, then you're a casual college basketball fan at best. Yeah, he's done a tremendous job. This year's team has been a little spotty at times. I think they'll be in the top half of the bracket, 6 seed-ish, something like that. But they've had injury problems throughout the course of the year, too, that they really haven't had all their pieces, it seems like, for much of this season, in fits and starts. Malik Hall, I know, missed a bunch of time. I don't know if they're fully healthy right now, but fully healthy Michigan State, there's a lot of talent on that roster. He gets pretty good players there. So if they've had time, healthy and have had time to build their chemistry, they can be pretty dangerous in the NCAA tournament too.
So do you have a number in mind of what you think the Big Ten will actually get into the Big Dance? How many teams?
No. I mean, I have a number of teams that I feel pretty comfortable will get in. Like 7 of them. The teams that we haven't mentioned are Illinois, Iowa, Maryland, Northwestern. So, and then what we've mentioned 4 others, but I don't feel comfortable about Michigan. So really 7 I feel comfortable about. And then we'll see what Michigan and Penn State and Rutgers and Wisconsin do, anywhere from 1 to 3 of those.
Jerry, this is going to be kind of a crazy question, and you could feel free to just laugh me off the face of the earth right now. But I also work at the Mid-American Conference.
Should I wait for the question?
Wait for the question. Okay. So I work at the Mid-American Conference as well for a team in the Toledo Rockets who have won 15 consecutive games. They're the number 1 seed in the MAC. They're going into the MAC tournament. Kent State has been very good this year as well. Both of those teams are 25-6 overall. Will we ever see a day again like we used to back in the glory days of the MAC, right? The mid to late 90s. Will we see a day in which the MAC gets 2 bids into the tournament where they're looked upon to say, you know what, this conference can be as competitive. The top teams in this conference, they'll never get a good home game when it comes to the non-conference scheduling. They're always going to have to go on the road or play neutral floors. Does the NCAA, will the committee even think about looking at 2 teams if Kent and Toledo find themselves in the MAC finals on Saturday?
Not this year. I won't say it'll never happen, but Wally Zerbiak isn't walking through that door. That's really what it's going to take. I mean, it's going to take a talent influx where these teams can play, at the level of some of the middle of the pack Big Ten teams, and then they go play those games on the road because, like you said, that's what they'll have to do and win some of those games. But that's what you have to do. But you have to have the players first. And while I love the MAC, these teams are good enough to win a game in the NCAA tournament. When they get there, they'll probably get Toledo or Kent if it's one of them. Should get a good enough seed to have a game that they can compete in. But to get 2 teams in the tournament, you're going to have at least 1 team of at-large quality, and they just don't quite get there in recent years.
You mentioned Wally Zerbiak, a little Bonzi Wells out there, a little Bonzi in the mix too, right? We get a little NBA influx. Yeah. What did you make of what took place this year at the end of the season with Nate Oates? Speaking of the MAC, Nate Oates and his Alabama Crimson Tide. I have a hard time kind of processing. I know that the freshman Brandon Miller is uber talented. He's a one and done type of prospect. A lot of controversy with the transportation of the firearm that was used in a homicide. The pat down, the alleged TSA. Like, no, you're getting frisked. We've all been frisked before. If you've ever entered a bar, you've probably been frisked. You're looking for something. Like, the whole thing left a really bad taste in my mouth for a team that was playing really well. What did you make of that?
Yeah, TSA is looking for weapons also. Really, of all of the problems in that entire incident, Brandon Miller's participation is distasteful, but not the worst of it. One kid got kicked off the team, was actually involved in the shooting, and it happened to be there as well. As long as Miller is not, a suspect in the criminal investigation, I don't know really what they can do. I use profoundly poor judgment, to say the least, but it's the whole thing is it's just heartbreaking. As for the basketball team,
they were never going to suspend Brandon Miller. They knew what his role in the incident month before the rest of us did. And if they felt that, he needed to be suspended, they would have already done it. So, that was just never going to happen. But it's a stain on their season that no matter what happens this year is going to color what people think of this team. But that's not really the worst of what happened.
You know what? I feel the same. Like, regardless of what comes out, we all look back at those events and what took place off the court for Alabama and what has happened there, and then kind of process. And I guess everyone can kind of come to their own judgment on shoulda, woulda, coulda, and what happens next. Jerry, when you look at this, we've got some tickets that have already been punched. Is there a team that you are very much looking forward to watching for whether it's championship week this week or in the NCAA tournament? Is there a team that you're like, hey, whatever time their game is on, I got to watch it. I got to tell all my friends to watch this club because I believe in them?
I'll give you one that's already had their ticket punched, and that's Oral Roberts. You may remember them from the pandemic tournament a couple of years ago, getting to the Sweet 16, going through Ohio State to get there. Their leading scorer, then the leading scorer in the nation, now I think he's just in the top 10, Max Asmus is still there. And they've got a couple other guys that were on that team. So, Oral Roberts is going to go into the NCAA tournament already knowing they can win because they've done it. So that makes them very dangerous. And also the fact that you've got Max Asmus, who could score from anywhere on the floor, that also makes them dangerous. But that's a really good team, that played in a league where, they're not going to get the kind of a seed where they can, be like an at-large quality seed. They're not going to quite get to that. They'll probably be a 12, something like that. But I would not want to be the 5 seed that sees Oral Roberts in my bracket.
I'm telling you, you mentioned the 12. You slide in there at a 12. We love that 12-5 line, right? We love that. We love a good upset there. How many teams out of the West Coast Conference? The Bulldogs of Gonzaga, they punched their ticket last night, so congratulations to them. I don't know how they did it. They have built an absolute powerhouse out there in the West Coast Conference. Congrats to Drew Timme and company. They beat St. Mary's last night 77-51. Will we see 2 teams from the West Coast Conference get in, Gonzaga and St. Mary's?
Yeah, and they'll both be in the top half of the bracket. I mean, St. Mary's will be 5, 6 seed, something like that. But there isn't anybody else, just those 2. And Gonzaga, they could be a 2. That they are, that level of a team. The 2 or 3, now that they're done playing, and the teams that they're competing with are just getting started in their conference tournaments. It remains to be seen where Gonzaga ends up, but either a 2 or a 3 for the Zags, and that maybe not the level we normally see them at. But they sure look like they're playing at that level right now as they go into the NCAA tournament.
He is Jerry Palm. Find him on Twitter at JPPalm. CBS. Find his work there, CBS Sports, covering college hoops. Jerry, my friend, thank you so much for your time this morning, partner. We greatly appreciate it and enjoy championship week.
All right, thank you.
There he goes. We'll be back. Hour number 3 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
It's time to go on the court with Anthony Bellino.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. It's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a new day for winning only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. It's a new day. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com. The Michigan Wolverines concluded their 2022-23 regular season with 2 highly contested road games. The first at Illinois, which was a 4-point double overtime loss to the Illini, followed up by a 2-point heartbreaker at Assembly Hall, once again in overtime against Indiana. 2 golden opportunities for the Wolverines to solidify themselves in the upcoming NCAA tournament, and 2 opportunities squandered by the Maize and Blue. The loss at Indiana cost them the number 2 seed in the upcoming Big Ten tournament, and now they find themselves sitting as the 8th seed. Many believe Michigan is on the outside looking in, not even as the first 4 out, which makes tomorrow's game at noon against Rutgers basically an elimination game if they want to make it to the NCAA tournament. And if they can get that victory, they will then seed number 1 Purdue on Friday. It's March. You know what that means. Survive in advance, the name of the game.
We might have just come out with our most refreshing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer yet. It's called the Essential Collection. It's made with coconut water and real fruit juice, so it's always going to have a real refreshing fruit taste. Can refreshing get any more refreshing? Yep, it can, and it just did. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, made with coconut water and real fruit juice for a superior taste. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The new M-Perks is here. Reward yourself with dollars off your purchases, fuel rewards, and more at Meijer. Earn 10 points on nearly every dollar you spend when you shop in-store or on Meijer.com. Then use your points to claim and redeem rewards any way you want. Plus, earn points for every qualifying prescription filled at your Meijer pharmacy. Download the Meijer app to sign up, or if you're already using M-Perks, start earning points and saving today. Save more with M-Perks. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com to learn more.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Bean Garter. They are one of America's top accounting and business firms, and they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of Michigan. If you're a small business, big business, and you're looking for the professionals who can help your business on any tax or business need you have, go to BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com. And we're close to March Madness, so be looking for our huge bracket challenge where you could win big cash, courtesy of Tom Rosenbach and his team from Bean Garter. We'll have more details in the coming weeks. But if you're a business decision maker or owner and you're looking for professionals to help your business, contact Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Garter. BeanGarter.com.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass.
And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Smarty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown to Detroit Lions. They did it. Br0's St. Brown in the receiving end.
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to you. It's Hump Day, the 8th day of March 2023. Opening tip-off of the Big Ten tournament. Good morning to all of you, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio as well. From Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City, we say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well. BCSN on Buckeye Broadband and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. MichiganSportsNetwork.com is the website. XBMornings@gmail.com is our fan feedback email inbox. And you can find us all individually on Twitter as well. Danny Kalen is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. Didn't get to this earlier when we were talking about the Detroit Pistons, who fell last night 119-117 at the buzzer to the Washington Wizards last night in their St. Cecilia Greens. But the Detroit Pistons, this comes from Terry on the west side, our resident research what would I say there? Research guy? Our research department. Pistons couldn't maintain their halftime lead last night. Fell 119-117 to the Wizards. It's looking like they won't even be able to match last year's disappointing record of 23-59. Current projection this season, 19-63. Ugh. What else is going on in the sports world? We'll try to get you all caught up with all the happenings. We'll do so right now in the headlines.
Big news.
I have a little news flash.
Let's check the headlines.
Nah, it's real news for once.
The biggest stories of the local, regional, and national news.
This is huge news.
Pistons lost by 2 last night. Yesterday, Detroit Tigers won by 13, an offensive explosion against those dirty birds from St. Louis. They beat the Cardinals 16-3. Tonight over on TNT, the Detroit Red Wings will host the Chicago Blackhawks, a 7:30 puck drop inside Little Caesars Arena. And, of course, as I mentioned, the Big Ten tournament beginning later on today. You'll have Ohio State in action. What will the Buckeyes do? Poor Chris Holtmann, his job is on the line. There's no other way to look at it. Like the guy, they got to have.
Is it really right now?
I think it is. I really do.
This is his first down year as the Ohio State coach. He's made the tournament every other year.
It's a bad year. They were awful. 5-15 in conference play. Like, if they can make a little bit of noise. I mean, if they get blown out today against Wisconsin, by the way, 6:30 tip-off on BTN for game number 1. Game number 2, 9 o'clock, Minnesota, Nebraska. Anybody staying up to watch that? I don't think I will be. But, yeah, I mean, if they have a bad showing against Wisconsin, next year it becomes vital for survival at that point. I don't think he'll get fired after.
Year, then I think there's questions. Because, say, Ohio State did lose a bit last year, just like how Michigan lost a lot. It's just, Ohio State's team just doesn't gel.
They got good athletes.
Yeah, they got good athletes. They have good basketball players. They don't have a good basketball team.
crazy, right? Tomorrow, the big day, 12 noon tip-off, Rutgers and Michigan over on BTN. Then you'll get the Iowa game at 2:30, Penn State and Illinois at 6:30. The Maryland game will be at 9 o'clock. All of those games on Big Ten Network before we get into Friday's action, the quarterfinals. That's where Michigan State hanging out. Just got to wait till Friday, 2:30 tip-off for Michigan State. That's kind of nice. I like the midday game. I don't know if I like the early one.
Oh, I like the 2 early games.
Yeah,
the 9:30 game where it's
terrible.
just like that's the rough one.
Ugh, don't want that at all.
Yeah, I feel like MSU might have played. Did you guys play that last year? You definitely had an early first round or a late first round game in one of the tournaments last year. I feel like we were all dreading it.
I always feel like Michigan State plays a late game. But then again, I mean, none of these games
Thursday.
Oh, was that in the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, when they were in the first 4 against UCLA, they were the second game, so it was like a 10:30 on a Thursday, staying up till 1 a.m. to watch an overtime loss.
Ooh, UCLA, damn them. The Ravens have used the franchise tag on quarterback Lamar Jackson. This is the non-exclusive tag, which means any other team can throw an offer out there, and if Baltimore chooses not to match, that team will forfeit a couple of first-round picks, and they will get Lamar Jackson. What will happen next, we'll have to wait and see. The New York Jets have talked with the Packers, and they flew out to California to meet up with Aaron Rodgers. Could we see a potential trade for the 4-time most valuable player of the league? Could we see that happen to the Jets? Clock is ticking. Buccaneers are going to release their starting left tackle, Donovan Smith. Boy, the Buccaneers, they went for it all. Mission accomplished, and now it's a total fire sale over there. The Dolphins are going to release Byron Jones in a cost-cutting save. The corner is out, so he will enter free agency. That's an interesting name right there. Amazon Prime is going to stream an NFL game on Black Friday for free. So the 2023 season will mark the first time the league has scheduled a game for the day after Thanksgiving. Teams for the 3 p.m. Eastern game on November 24th will be announced later on this year. But the additional game gives Prime Video 16 regular season games. Let's face it, folks. We're not ready for it. We're not ready for it. It is what it is. I don't like it. I have an internet TV now in my house. Like, you don't have any buffering going on with cable. It is what it is, and a lot of our older demographic, they don't have smart TVs, they have cable boxes. And, yeah,
something you might have missed yesterday, Anthony. I don't know if you Pau Gasol.
Yes, that's my next headline.
Okay, go on.
Pau Gasol will become the 12th Lakers player to have his jersey retired. In a very sweet message from Kobe Bryant's wife, they had a clip of Kobe talking about how, they wouldn't have won the 2 championships without Pau. And, man, go ahead, Dan. I know what you're going to say, so let it fly.
Why? I'm sorry, I don't even think of Pau Gasol as a Laker. I'm sorry. I don't know about you guys. He's a Memphis Grizzly. I mean, that's just, I don't know why. Whatever. Everybody gets their number retired.
Well, I do believe, I do think of Pau as a Laker. That is something that if I think Pau Gasol, I do think Kobe and Pau together as a championship leading team. I don't see him as a Spur. I don't see him in Milwaukee, and to be honest with you, I don't really think about him too much in Memphis because most of his damage was done afterwards. But I am in agreement with you here, Dan. Everybody does get their number retired, and I think that there is. I think
you said 12 Lakers.
12 Lakers and 13,
again
12 Lakers and 13 numbers. Remember, because Kobe's got both numbers retired.
Oh yeah, 13 numbers, right? And as I reminded people, there's only 55 legal numbers in basketball. 56 if you include 0.
Yeah. That is not correct at the NBA level. You can wear all the way to 99. Jake
you also can dunk in warm-ups, which is
you can do it in college now too.
I know, that's dumb.
Why? You should be able to. It's just like doing a layup. But I agree with you on the jersey thing. I think you got to be Kobe Bryant, Magic, You got to be Michael. Like, if you're going to have your number retired by a franchise, you have to do, you got to be the lead dog. I don't know if I see ancillary pieces being added up there, but that's just me. Hey, congratulations to Gonzaga winning another WCC title. Drew Timme set their club scoring record, so congratulations to him. We'll step aside. More X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
When you're in construction, you know that every minute matters and every dollar counts. You've got materials to purchase, employees to pay, and deadlines to meet. What you don't have is time to worry about your accounting, taxes, or ways to grow your business. That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is construction, our business is helping you run your business better. From tax planning, payroll processing, or R&D credit studies, we're here for you with concrete advice and answers. Let us help you build a solid foundation for your business. Whether you're a subcontractor, developer, architect, or engineer, of all the things you build, make your business the strongest. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
Get more for your money at Meijer. Right now, mix or match over 1,000 items and pay just $1 each when you buy 7 of items like extra large avocados, select varieties of Campbell's condensed soup, and select Body Armor's super drink. Plus, it's double points week. Earn 2 times the points for every dollar you spend through M-Perks. No clip necessary. Get more for your money this week at Meijer. See all the deals in the Meijer app. Excludes fuel.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahala, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. I wanted to hop into this because I saw this, I think the first time I saw this was maybe late last week. And it was on First Take, and Kendrick Perkins was having a discussion about the MVP award. And Kendrick Perkins, it became the MVP race has become now about the actual race of the players. Like the actual skin color of the players, according to Kendrick Perkins. And he said that the MVP voters in the NBA favor white players over other ethnicities, namely black players. And Reddick had questioned Perk's choice for Joel Embiid as this year's most valuable player, while Nikola Jokic, playing for the Denver Nuggets, is the favorite right now to win his third consecutive crown. Perkins says that the voters have an inconsistent criteria for the award and tried to, I guess he didn't really even try to imply. Quote, I asked what the criteria is for MVP and how the goalpost is moved. I'm asking these questions for a reason. When I look at JJ and I hear him talk, because he's so big on analytics and he's a historian when it comes down into deep diving into the history of the game and talking about the evolution of the game, why didn't he ever bring up this particular subject? When it comes down to guys winning the MVP, since 1990, only 3 guys that won the most valuable player that weren't top 10 in scoring. Do you know who those 3 guys were? Steve Nash, Nikola Jokic, and Dirk Nowitzki. It's Nowitzki. It's not Nowitzki. That's not how you pronounce it. Maybe we just call it Percolator. Like, at least get his name right. He's a Hall of Famer. Anyways, now what do those guys have in common, Kendrick Perkins said. I'll sit there and marinate, and you guys can think about it. That's what he said.
They're all foreign?
That could have been one as well. Steve Nash won the 06 MVP. Kobe Bryant, many people believe that he should have won it. Kobe was averaging 31 points a game, had a better season, was more valuable part of that team that was number 7 in the Western Conference with less of a roster, according to Kendrick Perkins. He then suggested why the Nugget star should be the MVP again. So don't give me they're the number 1 seed in the Western Conference this year, so he's averaging a triple-double. That's why he should be the clear-cut favorite. They were not the number 1 seed last year. They were actually the number 6 seed, 1 seed from being in the play-in tournament. So that's my whole thing, is why are we moving the goalposts for certain people, and then for others we don't? When I was trying to make a case 2 years ago for Chris Paul, when I was saying, hey, you know what? The Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul, same organization, same position, same results. Why is he not getting the love that Steve Nash was getting when he was in Phoenix as far as the MVP candidate or being the MVP front runner? I'm just trying to say, Stephen A., am I missing something here? JJ Redick.
Maybe because for the last 15 years, people have been saying that Chris Paul or that Steve Nash wasn't the MVP, so then people look away from that position.
Well, and J.J. Redick's response yesterday, and he said, quote, I mean, no offense.
Just
to you,
like the point guard is a pointless position to, the people that think John Stockton was just some bum of a player because he has 1,000 more assists than anybody.
Anybody who thinks John Stockton is a bum, don't even worry about arguing with the person. You just let them say what they got to say and keep it moving. But there's no, if they don't respect John Stockton, you can't even have a legitimate conversation with him. JJ responded with this, quote, I mean, no offense to you. I mean, no offense to First Take because I think the show is extremely valuable. That's crazy. It is an honor to be on this desk every day. It really is. The former NBA journeyman continues to say, but what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that white voters that vote on the NBA are racist, that they favor white people, that's what you just said. Perkins said, I did not. I stated the facts. No, well, you said what do those three players have in common? I'll sit there and let it marinate. Yeah, you did. You did. You absolutely did. You implied that because they're white, that they got preferential treatment in the MVP race. This is a first take. Everybody will write an article about it. Everybody will click to see the videos. It'll be widely debated, widely talked about. I think it's nauseating. I really do. If, Jokic, I think that when it comes to Nikola Jokic, the thing that is crazy about him that we don't really know what to say about him is because he looks so unathletic. He's a 7-footer that can't get off the ground. Can't jump. Like in a game that has guys flying all over the place, massive human beings that can jump out of the gym, Jokic can't jump. It looks weird when you watch him because he's shaped like a pear. He just looks soft. That's why. I'm not saying that he is soft. I don't know if I'd necessarily want to see him in a bar fight, especially with the reach that he's got. But he looks a little pudgy. He looks a little unathletic. And just can't jump. So when you watch,
he looks like the Sean Bradley version of the Monstar. That's what he's just like this goofy looking guy that you just don't expect to be this killer basketball player. It's hard
when he showed up in the suit jacket with the turtleneck, that's a great look, by the way. I love that. Throw on the turtleneck with the jacket and the slacks. I love that. And he had the old school like newsboy hat on. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
and it was like Jokic dressed as a Bond villain. It looked 100%. That's exactly what he looked like. He does look like a Bond villain. He looks more like a Bond villain than he does a basketball player. When I see guys that are 7 feet tall, I expect you to look like Dwight Howard. I expect you to look like even Jalen Duren, who hasn't even filled out his frame. When I see guys in the NBA with the amount of cardio that you are doing, I think we should probably see Luka Doncic from his international summer versus the Luka Doncic that we see right now, who's probably, he's enjoying those noon beers and eating that pizza again. Like you don't look like you are in shape for being a basketball player. It just is what it is. Like I don't know. When I look at him, I'm like, that's amazing that he can look that slow, but yet he can do whatever he wants with the basketball in his hands. That's crazy. Jokic is the same way. They'll pass the ball, and Jokic will bring it up for 3/4 court. Like he'll bring the ball up the floor. I don't care. Like as a young person, one of my favorite players was Shaquille O'Neal. Right? My other favorite player growing up was Grant Hill. And Grant Hill drank Sprite, so I drank Sprite because when people would ask, like, oh, what would, you go to a restaurant, like, what would you like to drink? I'd be like, oh, I drink Sprite because Grant Hill drinks Sprite. Like, I love those commercials, right? And I was an impressionable young person. The Grant Hill being, black and Shaquille O'Neal being black didn't matter to me. They were still my favorite players. I loved watching them. Michael Jordan he's in a completely separate conversation.
It was Joe Dumars for me.
Everybody's favorite player. Joe D, right? Joe D, absolutely. But I don't see it that way. And I hate that First Take is on this platform where they're on national television every day, now trying to make it this way because Jokic's stat line is crazy. If Jokic averages a triple-double, nobody argued that except for me when Russell Westbrook was going to be the MVP. Right? It's like, hey, if the stats are there, the stats are there. Are you the most valuable player in the league? I don't think so.
No, but that's been a debate about every MVP race in every single sport.
Since the history of the award.
It's like, is it the best player, or are we going with the term most valuable?
Because if it's the most valuable player, LeBron James would have won that award a decade in a row. But in the NBA, it just feels like we hand it off to whomever's turn it is next. We'll step aside. We'll come back. Big Ten tournament starting today. A little bit more college hoops. We'll hop into that. Your phone calls, your text messages as well. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
The new M-Perks is here. Reward yourself with dollars off your purchases, fuel rewards, and more at Meijer. Earn 10 points on nearly every dollar you spend when you shop in-store or on Meijer.com. Then use your points to claim and redeem rewards any way you want. Plus, earn points for every qualifying prescription filled at your Meijer pharmacy. Download the Meijer app to sign up, or if you're already using M-Perks, start earning points and saving today. Save more with M-Perks. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com to learn more.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Galen, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to hit us up on the text line. Text the keyword Sports Radio. Send that to 21,000. Sports Radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. Should the Lions make a run at Lamar Jackson? That's interesting. Let's get to Danny listening to us in Sarasota. Danny in Sarasota, good Wednesday morning to you, my friend. How are you, partner?
Anthony, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic, partner. Fantastic. How are you?
Well, it's 75 and sunny. How bad can I be?
One day it will be 75 and sunny here. The sun is out here, which is good. It is good.
Yeah,
it is
sun's out, guns out. And we're coming back because we hear there's all this snow, and so apparently we want to see it. Oh, by the way, so we're heading to the airport to head back home, and I was curious, how come Ryan answered the phone? Was Dan out in the back doing a quick shot before we got back on air?
I have no idea what Dan was up to.
I was not.
His hands might have been tied.
I was doing dishes, actually.
Might have been working on something over there.
All those cases he saved this morning from the bar had to be tended to.
It's nice to know that he's got the domestic going on. So my question especially to Anthony, even to Ryan as well, are you actually looking forward to watching, Michigan and Michigan State in the Big Ten tournament?
Yeah, my life depends on it. Honestly, it does. If they lose tomorrow, they're going to go to the NIT. If they go to the NIT, they're going to host. If they host, that means I got to be there. So yes, I will be very intently watching every second of that basketball.
And then it turns into Anthony in Ann Arbor instead of Anthony in Sarasota.
Exactly. Exactly what happens. That's but it's not only that. I'll be watching very intently. I was actually planning on going to Cleveland today after the show, and maybe Imani Bates and I will both have something in common. That's neither one of us will go to the MAC tournament. I was going to go to the MAC tournament, do the show from Cleveland tomorrow and Friday. We've got some extenuated circumstances at the old hometown grocer, so I don't know if I'll be able to go now. But my life depends on what Toledo is going to be doing on the men's and the women's side as well, because the women might have an opportunity in that large. Michigan women are already in the tournament. Don't have to worry about them. So there's one of the four teams. Toledo women, if they make it to the championship game and something unforeseen happens and it doesn't go their way, they might still be able to get an at-large berth. I mean, they got to win over a top 25 team. They've done a lot of damage in the non-conference. That's great. They have won 13 consecutive games. They're on an absolute heater right now. So they could get an at-large because that can happen in MAC women's basketball. They should have gotten an at-large last year. Toledo men, if they don't win the MAC tournament and go to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 43 years, then they're going to host the NIT too. So I have a lot of basketball that I am very overly interested in this weekend, my friend.
So overly interested is one thing. How hopeful are you that Michigan will make any kind of showing? Or Ryan, I'm curious how confident are you that Michigan State will make any kind of showing? Because talk about two of the most schizo teams in the Big Ten. I think somebody wrote.
You mean all 12?
If the Big Ten games were 38 minutes, Michigan would be top 5.
Yeah, stinks that they play a full 40 or a full 50.
Yeah, I can't get behind that, Danny, because then I'm going to get calls from Freddie talking about we didn't lose, we just ran out of time, and I can't handle that.
For a few
today.
games, Michigan State, it's this game was 32 minutes. We would have won by 15. This game was 38. We would have beat Iowa by 15.
So we're sitting in the bar in Sarasota on Sunday watching the Indiana game, and it's just a dumpster fire, honey. I don't want to ruin my wonderful pina colada. Let's just go. So then I'm looking at my phone, and I see now Michigan all of a sudden, for some wacko reason, is up by 12. And she's like, well, let's watch the game. No. I don't want to watch this game. We're just going to ruin it. Inevitably, of course, it goes in overtime. Oh, we really have to watch it. Okay. And, of course, you know what happens, like it does all the time. And I'm fascinated by some of the Michigan fans on social media that are still diehards, like, well, we're ready to turn it around. Like, no, we played 34 games or 33 games. That's who we are. We don't know how to close. We have talent, but we're just that team that just doesn't finish well. Maybe next year we'll be better, but it's a real frustrating watch for Michigan basketball right now.
It is, and I think that part of it is like this team has played so well in spurts where it's like, wow, like this team, like they could really be the real deal. And then there's other games they haven't shown up from the opening tip. There's other games where it took them a while to get started, and eventually they got things rolling. But it is very frustrating. At the end of the day, the offense has to go through Hunter. It does. And they got to do more than just a high, pick and roll or up top of the point guard or, passing to the wing and setting a stagger screen. It's like every offensive play kind of feels like it's the same. They'll throw the ball to the left wing. That's where Jet will be because he can't go left. He can only go right. They'll set a stagger screen with the two bigs. He'll dribble to the elbow, pick up his dribble, pivot, look around. Somebody will scramble around. They'll pass it. Now you got 10 seconds to shoot on the shot clock. And it's like, what did we even do? We're not. I don't think we move enough without the basketball in our hands. And I think that that's one thing that when you look to the NBA level and you look at a guy like Kevin Durant doesn't need the basketball. Like, he can go get you 30 points and touch it 15 times. Like, that's it. He doesn't need to dribble it. He doesn't need to have it. Like, you just pass it to him, and he can make it happen. We struggle without the basketball in our hands at all times. Like, we don't have enough off-ball movement that helps create. Like, even on the first possession of the game against Indiana, they throw down low to Hunter. Here comes the double team. Pass to Kobe. Up top, Kobe makes the correct read. Swings it over to Jet. Jet makes the three-pointer. It's like, dude, you could literally do this every play if you wanted to. Because if they're just going to single cover Hunter, then all he's going to do is put the ball on the floor and take it to the bucket, get fouled. Like, that's got to be the focal point of the offense. It doesn't matter whose kid's on the team, who's the coach is, what their relationship is. The focal point has got to be Hunter, and everything's got to go through Hunter.
Well, that's what I've noticed. And, being a nerd and a stat guy, I also noticed that when Michigan was doing well, he takes the most shots, and Jet takes the third most shots, as it should be, because he's a streaky shooter. We kind of call him the black hole sometimes because that's where the offense goes to die. And what we noticed for long stretches in that Indiana game was the five guys just standing there with no movement at all.
Just standing around, Danny, in Sarasota. Just standing. You want to spectate? Buy a ticket. Set a screen.
It's maddening, and I am sure that I'm sure that is not like the offense that they run in practice where Juwan says, okay, well, all you guys just stand around and let's just wait for something to happen. I just, you got young guys, and sometimes you got guys that just say, well, I think I'm just going to do this. And that's when you go up in flames. And I think you see the spurts where they just run their stuff. I kind of learned that from the B-line. Just run your stuff. Run your stuff. You're going to get an open shot.
Danny, what is our stuff? What's our stuff?
Run your. If you actually do what you talked about, where you run the offense through Hunter, people move. People run through picks. There's motion on offense because you're going to get an open shot. Because there was open shots before this year when Juwan was coaching. I don't think he changed the offense to say, okay, now this year we're just going to stand. I mean, it's wildly maddening. And I know Michigan's going to play in the postseason somewhere. I just hope that when they come back next year, because the nice thing about the NIL from a Michigan fan standpoint is you're not necessarily going to leave early for the NBA because it's not always the best route. So people might stay that extra year.
If you're not an NBA player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I mean that by, like, Iggy Br0's left early. Never should have left early. Was never, like, there were no points where I'm like, that's the best player on the floor. Hunter Dickinson at times will be the best player on the floor, but he struggles with foot speed and quickness. And that's a major issue when every single NBA team is bringing the centers on their offense, bringing them up to set the screen so that they can get a one-on-one matchup with a big man and put that big guy in a blender on your way to the bucket. That's what I mean. You look at the difference in the physical nature of a guy like Jalen Duren versus a guy like Hunter Dickinson. We've seen Hunter Dickinson. Trace Jackson Davis gave him the business a couple times. Zach Edey last year with Kofi Coburn. Like, he's had trouble when you have a formidable big man to go against him. Guess what? In the NBA, everybody's a big man. I would love to see Hunter stay. I would love to see Kobe Buffkin stay. I don't know if that will happen. If Jet wants to go, see you later.
I think one of the big three from Michigan will be staying.
At least one.
It'll be Hunter.
If Hunter stays.
You think Kobe and Jet both go?
Jet has been gone since the day he stepped on campus.
Yeah.
That's probably not a bad call.
I just think he's talented enough, and I think the projections are there where he will just be drafted. Kobe is a 50-50. I don't know. But Hunter, I think, is for sure staying.
They might look at, Caleb Houston and, Musa Diabate and say, hey, how you guys liking the G League? Maybe it might be worth staying another year.
Yeah, it's a tough nut to crack. But then again, you see a guy like Jordan Poole who, we had some questions about Jordan Poole, and look at him now. It's a fat contract set for life. So I don't know. It's a gamble. It's a gamble.
Well, you know what? I will see you guys when we get back. Always appreciate the time, man.
Hey, Danny in Sarasota, did he just hang up?
He gone.
I mean, why does he just hang up like that?
He's probably pulling up to the airport.
So what? You could be on your phone in the airport. You're not going through security. What's he going to do? Have Brandon Miller give him the frisk? TSA? You see what I did there? No?
Bravo.
No, thank you. Studio audience, I needed this button yesterday. Brandon Miller, TSA, they're,
That kid was a human dynamo.
Cleared for takeoff, whatever the case may be. It's an interesting case study to see what happens. Does NIL play that big of a role to where they can keep guys because there is some payment coming in? Yeah.
I think we do. Michigan fans do need to prep that Kobe Buffkin, I think, will explore the draft process 100%.
As he should.
Whether or not he stays in the NBA draft is the biggest question, because he will declare, but keep his eligibility open.
Yeah, you declare, don't hire an agent.
You can hire the NBA approved agent.
Oh, that's right.
In that pool of agents, he will do that. He will go through everything. Then I don't know. I just saw that there was an article that just came out on The Athletic today about Trace Jackson Davis and how he declared last year, but got COVID and couldn't do any of the workouts, so returned to Indiana. And so he's like, getting COVID was a blessing in disguise after the year I had.
Right, yeah. I mean, you think about not being able to go out there and play and participate, and I think it's good for Kobe Buffkin. I think that it's a positive. He's a good defender. He hustles. He gets on the floor. He's been great. He's been great for Michigan. The question is will he stick around for one more year? And I think that is where, if you could bring back Hunter, Terrace Reed, Doug McDaniel, Kobe Buffkin, now you're cooking with gas. But you still don't have a bench, right? You're still not getting anything off the bench. I thought maybe Isaiah Barnes would get a little look. He was a highly touted recruit, but he hasn't. He's only appeared in a couple games. I mean, he just is not. He's not ready to play. Joey Baker in the transfer portal to bring over some shooting. We've seen how that's gone. It's been hit or miss. So it's there's a lot on the line for this upcoming Big Ten tournament, which starts today. Also, you're going to hear about it. People are going to talk about it. Lamar Jackson is up for sale. Who is going to place a bid on the services of a former MVP quarterback? Should the Lions, if the Lions could get him, Dan and Ryan, instant reaction. If the Lions decided, we could make this happen, we'll give up the 2 first.
No.
We'll give up pick number 18 in the first next year. Not at all.
Anthony.
Yes.
We could be this year's Philadelphia Eagles. That is what we are looking at right now if we stick to the plan.
What a rational comment that was. Ryan, do you feel irrational at all?
Yes. I haven't seen a Jared Goff squatting 600 pounds, so I don't think we'll be the Eagles. Yeah, give me Lamar. Give me all the names. I was sitting here, give me Russell Westbrook. Give me something exciting. Sure, take a flyer on Ben Simmons. It's better than seeing Corey Joseph take a shot.
I can agree with that.
2 seconds in.
It's not, though.
I'd rather have Ben Simmons than
shoot.
Corey. Cool. Either can half the Pistons. So give me something. If Lamar Jackson is available, the deal is right, sure, let's have fun. But I agree with Dan's point where it's like, if you asked me week 3 of the NFL season, hey, we have a chance to get Lamar Jackson, sign away the soul. Thanks, devil. See you later.
Hasn't played more than 12 games in each of the last 2 seasons. Has only played a full season 1 time. Career completion percentage at 63.7.
He just needs a marketing deal with Pepto-Bismol, and he'll be fine.
If I had to place a bet, and this was the betting favorite a few weeks ago, we even talked about it. We have a general manager who's also a coach still with the New England Patriots.
What about Matt Patricia to the Eagles too? Have you guys seen that?
Hey, Darius Slay loves that.
Bro, he's got to be asking. He's got to be asking to get out, right?
Brad Holmes, call up Philadelphia.
He's got to be asking to get out, or
Yep.
he's going to light up that first team meeting. One of the two. I don't see that working out very well.
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, exactly. Any action over there on the phone line? I heard it ringing. Want to make sure.
I didn't see who it was. Should we go for it?
Yeah, just pot him up. We got like 40 seconds. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Dave from Hudsonville, man. Hey, fellas.
Hey, Dave from Hudsonville. Not where you're actually from. Not even your real name. Dave, you're a spy. Go ahead.
Anyway, we do not want to be the Eagles. We want to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. We want to be relevant every year. Even though they weren't as relevant this year. If you look at the Steelers' run, no on Lamar Jackson, man, let's build an organization that's built to last, not that's built to chase one. At least I'd like to be in the playoffs in the conversation every year and do it that way. So how do we build a program and a team like the Steelers have done over time?
It's the hardest thing in football, but if you can figure it out, longevity and consistency, man, that's if you can do that, I think we're on the right path too. Dave in Hudsonville, fake name, fake alias. We appreciate the call this morning. That's all we got for Dana Ryan.
You can't have a fake alias. It's just an alias.
No, it's from the movie where the guy pulls out the license and he was it Super Troopers, like fake name, fake alias.
No, I don't remember that. I don't remember that line, but good reference.
All right, thank you. That's all we got. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
We might have just come out with our most refreshing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer yet. It's called the Essential Collection. It's made with coconut water and real fruit juice, so it's always going to have a real refreshing fruit taste. Can refreshing get any more refreshing? Yep, it can, and it just did. Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, made with coconut water and real fruit juice for superior taste. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, IRC Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The new M-Perks is here. Reward yourself with dollars off your purchases, fuel rewards, and more at Meijer. Earn 10 points on nearly every dollar you spend when you shop in-store or on Meijer.com. Then use your points to claim and redeem rewards any way you want. Plus, earn points for every qualifying prescription filled at your Meijer pharmacy. Download the Meijer app to sign up, or if you're already using M-Perks, start earning points and saving today. Save more with M-Perks. Exclusions apply. See Meijer.com to learn more.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach. Now, he's a managing partner at Br0's. They are one of America's top accounting and business firms, and they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew from the east side of Michigan. If you're a small business, big business, and you're looking for the professionals who can help your business on any tax or business need you have, go to BeanGarter.com. That is BeanGarter.com. And we're close to March Madness, so be looking for our huge bracket challenge where you could win big cash, courtesy of Tom Rosenbach and his team from Bean Garter. We'll have more details in the coming weeks. But if you're a business decision maker or owner and you're looking for professionals to help your business, contact Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Garter, BeanGarter.com.